All right, guys, what's up? So let's talk about Hawkeye episode 5, which I'm doing this review what day is today? I don't even remember. I'm doing it the day after. The day of. Today is Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. I am doing the review at the end of the night for Wednesday for this episode, and whenever I woke up this morning, Wednesday morning, I immediately saw, and this is no spoiler yet. I'm going to spoil this episode later, but there was a article about somebody appearing in this where I was like, "Oh shit, that'll be awesome." Hopefully it's the character I'm thinking it is because that said article did not mention who the person was, but I uh, I was kind of late on the game in this one because of course on the internet everything is kind of immediately revealed with stuff like this. So that's why, of course, I'm seeing Spider-Man No Way Home tomorrow night. Because if I wait one day, comicbook.com is going to spoil the whole thing, or different articles online. So with Marvel, you really got to watch them immediately, and that means even that night, like at like 3 in the morning, and I was not able to, but I knew that something big was going to happen in this episode, and I was really glad that it happened. And I will get into spoilers as now, as of now, I will get into spoilers. So I really, really dug that this episode really delved into Elena, who I really loved in Black Widow. I thought she was awesome and hilarious in that movie. And in the end credits of that, you get the idea that Valentina, who Julia Louis-Dreyfus plays, she's kind of a Nick Fury kind of, but for villains. She tells Yelena that Hawkeye killed her sister, Natasha, Black Widow, but of course we know that he did not kill her. She sacrificed herself to save the world, to get the Soul Stone, and Yelena does not know this. So I like the fact that you get development with Yelena where it starts out where um, she turns to dust and then she comes back, and that's really good writing wise in terms of if they had Avengers Endgame and they had Yelena, like people would be like, where's Elena if she was in Black Widow? Like it makes sense to have her fade out of existence for 5 years, like half the world. So I thought that worked. I liked seeing the point of view of like somebody with the snap fading away and then literally appearing 5 seconds later, and then there's like nothing changed, but then she goes in the other room and the friend that she saw before she got snapped literally is the exact opposite, like where she's got a family now, her friend that Yelena is with. And it's just a really cool different outcome. And I know that they did that in WandaVision with Monica Rambeau where like she was re-brought back, but it didn't feel the same in a good way. Like I liked how both of those characters were taken out of existence for 5 years, but then they had different reality changes. Like with Monica, it was more about her seeing her mom had passed in WandaVision, but in this, it was like cool to see the point of view of like somebody snapped and then the snap turned Elaine into dust, and then immediately she's back in the same room, like not even 5 seconds. I thought that was cool, and even though 5 years have passed, which is really awesome, just seeing that. Um, Honestly, this might be my favorite episode so far because of Yelena. Like I said, Florence Pugh is fantastic in this, like she was in Black Widow. I love the fact that she is so charismatic as can be. Like she is awesome and so hilarious. I love the lines that she says to Kate Bishop. Um, Kate Bishop is like, um, "Why should I have dinner with you? Like you're trying to kill me." And then Yelena laughs and says, "If I wanted to kill you, you would have already been dead." And I like the fact that Yelena is like just peppy and excited to be in New York. She's like, "Yes, I'm excited for New York. I'm excited to go see all of the attractions." Like she has such great line reads, Florence Pugh. And I think that everything she says is really golden and really fun. And she is the opposite of Natasha, where like Natasha had jokes, but she was more sly as opposed to like overly enthusiastic. Like Natasha was more like she'd say a joke and kind of do a smile, and with Yelena, she's really just kind of bouncy, and that's really funny and fun about her. Um, I really dug that. I thought that this episode was interesting because it's probably got the least amount of Hawkeye in it, which is not a bad thing because Hawkeye has been developed through the movies and the episodes so far, but this one really had to focus on Elena and bring her into it. Also focusing on Maya as well. But I did like the scene a lot where you've got Hawkeye going to the, it's like a plaque where the Avengers started in the 2012 Avengers movie where they are in New York in that location. There's a plaque now in this universe where it shows this is where the Avengers stood together for the first time. And I really think that Jeremy Renner does a great job in this scene where he talks to Natasha, even though she's not there, saying like, sorry for everything that's happened and I'm going to set it right. And I really dug the line reads from Jeremy Renner. It was just really, really touching. And also it's got the musical score that is playing during Endgame whenever they are on the cliff together. And also Infinity War, to be fair, with Thanos and Gamora. But it's more of their theme because of that's the last time that they see each other. And I liked, too, that it didn't have to have the clips from Avengers Endgame in that moment. It did show clips in another episode of Hawkeye. I think it was the first one or the second episode. But it didn't have to show, again, that Natasha jumping and falling, which I thought honestly made a bigger impression because you saw it earlier in the show. And now the moment where Hawkeye is talking to her like she's, even though she's gone, talking to the plaque, it's a really good moment because of the musical score, because of the fact and how they built on that. It's just really, really emotional and really works well. I liked the fight between Maya and Clint. I thought was really good. He dresses up as Ronin and he says like, we're going to fight it out and also don't go near my family. And he has been worried about them and they are far away from the location that he's at, but I think that it worked because you can see really just how much of a family man Clint is. And I really like that moment between them both, or between him and Maya. And we get an interesting idea at the end of the episode because Jack gets arrested, Eleanor's husband, and then he says he gets framed. And I'm like, well, I thought it was implied that like he was the one, blah, blah, blah. But then you get this awesome twist that, again, big spoilers here, twist that Eleanor is going into this building and Yelena's following her. And then you get a confirmation to Kate Bishop via text that Yelena sees Eleanor go into this building, and then you realize that she was hired by Eleanor to kill Hawkeye. But also the big man in this show is the Kingpin from the Netflix Daredevil show. And it shows Vincent D'Onofrio in a photo. And I was expecting him to be like fully shown like as an actor in this, but photo's fine. As long as you've got the Netflix shows reintegrated again, or whatever they are doing with them, because the Netflix shows, Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, The Defenders, those are not considered, were not considered canon really anymore because they were kind of their own thing and they never really were mentioned in the movies. But in the Netflix shows, they mention, like, say, Captain America or, like, the Marvel stuff. But, like, the movies never referenced the Netflix stuff. So it was weird. It felt like they didn't connect. But now they're slowly connecting with the Kingpin into the show. They've got to connect them in that way. And I really hope that they keep them connected. Even though those Netflix shows are brutal and dark, I hope that they keep them connected because despite that, I still love the fact that they're hopefully will connect them all to the universe. And then they need to do that with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did the same thing, where like the first 4 seasons really integrated into the Marvel movies. That show like was connected very strongly to the movies. But then after season 5, where the Infinity War happened, but then there was no snap, it was like, what? Okay, so they're not, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not connected anymore. It's weird with the Marvel TV shows, because those, not counting the Disney Plus ones, the Netflix ones, and the ABC ones, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and also Agent Carter, but that one is more connected because Avengers Endgame had the Jarvis guy. So it's weird with the continuity of these things, and I think that Kevin Feige is trying to connect them all logically into it, but he's just taking his time and building up anticipation, I guess. But having the idea that Kingpin is in the universe, and we know for sure he is because it's now connected to the movie franchise and the show franchise, that's awesome. Really excited to see Vincent D'Onofrio appear because I really loved him in the Daredevil show. He's fantastic. So yeah, that was a great final ending like stinger for this episode. And we've only got one episode left, so I'm really, really pumped for next week. And I think it's Christmas week that it's going to be out, so I'm really, really excited. I think, wait, so no, I think it's next week is not Christmas, so I think it's the week before Christmas. But regardless of that, I'm excited no matter what. I'm really, really like this show so far. It's made me even more excited to see where it goes, especially connecting to Daredevil. That's great. So that's it for today. What are your guys' thoughts on Hawkeye episode 5? Tell me down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and thank you guys so much for watching.